The rain pounded down like 1,000 angry fists on the pavement. Emma stood there, soaking wet, her clothes sticking to her skin like they were glued on. Her long brown hair was plastered to her face, and tears mixed with the raindrops running down her cheeks. "You're nothing," Marcus screamed at her from the doorway of the fancy house. His face was red with anger, twisted into something ugly and mean. "You hear me? Nothing. Just a worthless girl who thought she could be somebody." He slammed the door so hard that Emma felt it in her chest. Bang! The sound echoed through the empty street. Emma fell to her knees on the wet sidewalk, her hands shaking, her heart breaking into a million pieces. She had nowhere to go. No money, no phone, nothing. But then, through the curtain of rain, she saw bright headlights cutting through the darkness. They got closer and closer. The car was huge, black, and shiny. Even in the rain, it gleamed like a diamond. A Bentley. The car stopped right in front of her. The driver's door opened, and a man in a perfect black suit stepped out, holding a huge umbrella. But he wasn't the one Emma was looking at. The back door opened, and when Emma saw who stepped out, her whole world stopped spinning. Before we continue with this crazy story, hit that subscribe button right now and tell me in the comments. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country below. Now, let me tell you how Emma ended up on that rainy street. Emma Walker was 23 years old and worked at a small coffee shop called Bean Dreams in the busy part of the city. She wasn't rich. She wasn't famous. She was just a regular girl trying to make enough money to pay her rent and maybe, just maybe, save a little bit for college. Every morning, Emma woke up at 5 o'clock when the sky was still dark. She'd brush her teeth, put her brown hair in a ponytail, and walk 15 minutes to the coffee shop. Her apartment was tiny, just one room with a bed, a small kitchen, and a bathroom that sometimes didn't have hot water. But Emma never complained. Her mama had taught her that hard work and kindness were the most important things in life. "Baby girl," her mama used to say, hugging Emma tight, "you might not have much money, but you've got a good heart. And a good heart is worth more than all the gold in the world." Emma's mama had died 2 years ago from being very sick. Emma didn't have a daddy. He left when she was just a baby. She had no brothers or sisters. She was all alone in the world. Well, almost alone. There was Uncle Raymond. But Emma hadn't seen him since she was a little girl, maybe 7 or 8 years old. She remembered a tall man with kind eyes who gave her a teddy bear and told her jokes that made her laugh so hard her belly hurt. But then Uncle Raymond stopped visiting. Emma's mama never wanted to talk about why. Whenever Emma asked, her mama's face would get sad and she'd change the subject. "Some things are complicated, baby," Mama would say. "When you're older, you'll understand." Now Mama was gone, and Emma still didn't understand. She tried to find Uncle Raymond after Mama died, but it was like he'd disappeared completely. No phone number, no address, nothing. So Emma worked at the coffee shop, smiled at customers even when they were rude, and saved every penny she could. That's where she met Marcus. Marcus Blackwood walked into Bean Dreams on a Tuesday morning in January. Emma noticed him right away because he looked different from the regular customers. He wore an expensive gray suit that probably cost more than Emma made in 3 months. His shoes were shiny black leather. His watch sparkled with what Emma guessed were real diamonds. His hair was slicked back perfectly, and he had bright blue eyes that seemed to look right through you. "Welcome to Bean Dreams," Emma said with her biggest smile. "What can I get for you today?" Marcus looked at the menu board, then looked at Emma. His eyes traveled from her face down to her worn-out sneakers, then back up again. "Cappuccino," he said. His voice was smooth and deep. "Extra shot of espresso. And make it quick. I have a meeting." "Coming right up," Emma said cheerfully. She made his cappuccino perfectly, adding a little heart design in the foam on top. Her coworker Sarah had taught her how to do that. Emma handed Marcus the cup with a smile. Marcus took a sip. His eyebrows went up. "This is actually really good," he said, sounding surprised. Emma felt her cheeks get warm. "Thank you. I practiced a lot." Marcus looked at her more carefully this time. "What's your name?" "Emma. Emma Walker." Well, Emma Walker, I'll be back tomorrow. He pulled out a $20 bill and handed it to her. Keep the change. The coffee only cost $4.50. That meant Marcus had given her a $15.50 tip. Emma's eyes went wide. Are you sure? That's a really big tip. You made a good coffee and you smiled like you meant it, Marcus said. Most people in this city fake everything. I appreciate real kindness. Then he left, and Emma felt like she was floating on a cloud. Marcus did come back the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that. Every morning for 2 weeks, he came to Bean Dreams and ordered the same thing, cappuccino with an extra shot of espresso. He always gave Emma a big tip, and every day he talked to her a little bit longer. So, Emma Walker, what do you do besides make the best cappuccinos in the city? Marcus asked one Friday morning. This is pretty much it, Emma said, wiping down the counter. I work here 6 days a week. On Sundays, I rest and read books from the library. No family? Emma's smile got a little smaller. My mama passed away 2 years ago. It's just me now. Something changed in Marcus's face. He looked softer, kinder. I'm sorry, he said, and he actually sounded like he meant it. That must be really hard. I manage, Emma said quietly. Mama taught me to be strong. Marcus was quiet for a moment, just looking at Emma like he was trying to figure out a puzzle. Would you like to have dinner with me? He suddenly asked. Emma nearly dropped the cup she was holding. What? Dinner? You and me? Tomorrow night, since you said you don't work on Sundays. Emma's heart started beating really fast. Like a date. Exactly like a date. Marcus smiled, and it made him look even more handsome. I'll pick you up at 7. Wear something nice. Emma wanted to say yes so badly, but she looked down at her old sneakers and thought about her tiny apartment and her closet with only 3 nice dresses, and she felt embarrassed. I don't know if I have anything fancy enough for wherever you probably want to go, she said honestly. Marcus leaned across the counter. Emma, I don't care what you wear. I want to have dinner with you, not your clothes. So, is that a yes? Emma felt butterflies dancing in her stomach. Yes, that's a yes. Marcus picked Emma up in a sleek black car that probably cost more than her apartment building. Emma wore her nicest dress. A simple blue one that her mama had bought her for her 21st birthday. She'd curled her hair and put on a little bit of makeup. When Marcus saw her, he smiled big. You look beautiful. Emma blushed. Thank you. You look really nice too. Marcus took her to a fancy restaurant called Le Chateau. Emma had walked past it 100 times but never dreamed she'd actually eat there. The menu didn't even have prices on it. Order anything you want, Marcus said. And I mean anything. Emma ordered chicken with vegetables because it seemed safe. Marcus ordered steak and wine and fancy bread with butter that probably cost more than her whole meal. They talked and talked. Marcus told her he worked in real estate, buying and selling buildings. He was 30 years old and very successful. I started with nothing, Marcus said, cutting into his steak. My parents kicked me out when I was 18, said I'd never amount to anything. I lived in my car for 6 months, worked 3 jobs and saved every penny. Now I own 15 buildings in this city. Emma's eyes went wide. Wow, that's amazing. You must be so proud. Marcus looked at her with an expression Emma couldn't quite read. I am. But you know what I learned, Emma? Money changes everything. It shows you who people really are. Most people only care about what you can give them. That's sad, Emma said softly. People should care about each other just because, well, because we're all human. We should be kind to each other. Marcus reached across the table and took Emma's hand. His hand was warm and soft. You're different, Emma Walker. You're real. You're pure. In this dirty, greedy city, you're like a ray of sunshine. Emma felt her heart swell up like a balloon. No one had ever said such nice things to her before. That first date turned into a second date. Then a third. Then a fourth. Before Emma knew it, she and Marcus had been dating for 3 months. One night in April, Marcus took Emma to a beautiful park where the cherry blossom trees were blooming. Pink petals floated through the air like tiny dancers. It was magical. They sat on a bench, and Marcus turned to Emma with a serious expression. Emma, I have something to ask you, and I want you to really think about it before you answer. Emma's heart started racing. Okay. Move in with me. Emma's mouth fell open. What? Move in with me, Marcus repeated. Look, I know we've only been dating for 3 months, but I've never felt this way about anyone before. You're special, Emma. You make me want to be a better person. My house is huge, way too big for just me. And your apartment. He made a face. Emma, you deserve better than that place. The hot water doesn't work half the time, and I saw a rat in your hallway last week. Emma laughed nervously. It was a small rat. There's no such thing as a small rat. Marcus took both of her hands in his. Please, Emma, let me take care of you. You work so hard at that coffee shop, barely making enough money to survive. Move in with me. Quit that job. Let me support you while you figure out what you really want to do with your life. Maybe go to college, like you've always wanted. Emma's mind was spinning like a tornado. This was all so fast, but when she looked into Marcus's blue eyes, she saw something that made her want to say yes. She thought she saw love. Okay, Emma whispered. Okay, I'll move in with you. Marcus pulled her into a tight hug. You won't regret this, Emma. I promise I'll take care of you. Marcus's house wasn't just a house. It was a mansion. It had 12 rooms, including 5 bedrooms, a huge kitchen with fancy appliances Emma didn't know how to use, a living room with a TV the size of a small car, and even an indoor swimming pool. Emma walked through the house with her mouth hanging open. This is where you live? She asked, spinning around in the giant entrance hall with its sparkly chandelier. Marcus laughed. This is where we live now. What's mine is yours, Emma. For the first 2 months, life was like a fairy tale. Emma quit her job at Bean Dreams. Sarah, her coworker, hugged her tight and made her promise to stay in touch. You deserve to be happy, Sarah said with tears in her eyes. But if anything ever goes wrong, you call me. Okay? Emma promised she would. Living with Marcus was amazing at first. He bought her new clothes, beautiful dresses and shoes that fit perfectly. He took her to fancy restaurants and shows. He held her hand and told her she was beautiful every single day. But then, slowly, things started to change. It started with small things. Emma, why are you wearing that dress? Marcus asked one morning. I bought you much nicer ones. I like this one, Emma said, looking down at her simple yellow sundress. It's comfortable. Marcus frowned. When you're with me, you represent me. I need you to look a certain way. Wear the black dress I bought you last week. Emma felt a little uncomfortable, but she changed into the black dress. It was beautiful but tight and made her feel like she couldn't breathe properly. Much better, Marcus said, kissing her forehead. You look like you belong with someone successful now. Another day, Emma made breakfast, scrambled eggs and toast, just like her mama used to make. Marcus took one bite and pushed the plate away. This is peasant food, Emma. I have a chef who can make us real breakfast. Stop trying to do things you're not good at. Emma felt like she'd been slapped. But I just wanted to do something nice for you. If you want to be nice, let the professionals handle it, Marcus said, not looking at her as he scrolled through his phone. The warm, kind Marcus from the coffee shop was slowly disappearing. In his place was someone colder, someone who noticed every little mistake Emma made. One Friday night, Marcus announced they were having a dinner party. Some of my business associates are coming over with their wives, he said. I need you to be perfect tonight, Emma. These people are important to my career. Emma spent all day getting ready. She wore the fanciest dress Marcus had bought her, a long red one that sparkled. She did her hair in an elegant bun. She practiced smiling in the mirror. But when Marcus's friends arrived, Emma realized she was in trouble. These people were rich, the kind of rich Emma had only seen in movies. The women wore jewelry that probably cost more than Emma had made in her entire life. They talked about vacations to places Emma couldn't even pronounce. Emma tried her best. She smiled and nodded and listened carefully to every conversation. But then one of the women, A thin blonde lady named Victoria asked Emma a question. "So, Emma, darling, what do you do?" Emma opened her mouth, but no words came out. What did she do? She used to work at a coffee shop, but she didn't anymore. She lived in Marcus's house and that was it. She's taking time to figure out her path. Marcus jumped in smoothly. Emma's considering going back to school. "Oh, how lovely," Victoria said, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. "And where did you go to university before?" I didn't," Emma admitted quietly. "I couldn't afford it. I had to work after high school to help my mama with her medical bills." The table went quiet. Emma felt everyone's eyes on her, judging her. "How noble," Victoria said in a voice that made it clear she thought it was anything but noble. "Marcus, you always did have a soft spot for charity cases." Emma felt her face burn with embarrassment. Charity case? Is that what Marcus's friends thought she was? She looked at Marcus, hoping he would defend her, say something kind. But Marcus just laughed uncomfortably and changed the subject. Later that night, after everyone left, Marcus was angry. "Emma, you embarrassed me tonight," he said, pacing back and forth in the bedroom. "What? How?" Emma asked, confused and hurt. "You barely spoke, and when you did speak, you reminded everyone that you're—" He stopped himself. "That I'm what?" Emma asked, her voice shaking. "Poor? Not educated? Not good enough for you?" "I didn't say that. But you thought it." Tears were running down Emma's face now. "Marcus, I tried my best tonight. I'm sorry I'm not fancy like your friends, but this is who I am." Marcus's face softened a little. He sat down next to Emma and pulled her close. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I'm stressed about work, and I took it out on you. You're perfect just the way you are, Emma. I love you." It was the first time he'd said those words. Emma wanted to believe him so badly. She wanted everything to go back to how it was in the beginning. "I love you too," she whispered. But deep in her heart, a tiny seed of doubt had been planted. Over the next month, Marcus got meaner and meaner. He criticized the way Emma walked. "You slouch. Stand up straight." He criticized the way she talked. "Stop using simple words. You sound uneducated." He criticized what she ate. "You're gaining weight. Maybe skip dessert." Emma tried so hard to be what Marcus wanted. She walked straighter. She read books to learn bigger words. She barely ate anything. But nothing was ever good enough. One terrible day, Emma was looking through old photos on her phone. Pictures of her and her mama, smiling and happy. She started crying, missing her mama so much it hurt like a physical pain in her chest. Marcus walked in and saw her crying. "What's wrong now?" he asked, sounding annoyed. I miss my mama," Emma said through her tears. "Today would have been her birthday." Marcus rolled his eyes. "Emma, your mother has been dead for 2 years. You need to move on. This constant sadness is exhausting." Emma looked up at him, shocked. "How can you say that? She was my mama. And she's gone." Marcus snapped. "Stop living in the past. You have a good life now with me. Or is that not good enough for you?" Emma felt something inside her break. How had the sweet man from the coffee shop turned into this cruel stranger? "Maybe I should leave," Emma said quietly. Marcus's face changed immediately. He knelt down in front of her, taking her hands. No, Emma. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I've been under a lot of pressure at work. Please don't leave. I need you. You're the only real thing in my life." Emma wanted to be strong. She wanted to pack her bags and walk out. But she had nowhere to go. No job. No money. No family. She was trapped. Things got worse and worse. Marcus started coming home late, smelling like perfume that wasn't Emma's. He stopped saying nice things to her. He barely looked at her anymore. Emma felt like she was disappearing, like she was becoming invisible. Then came the night that changed everything. Marcus came home at midnight, drunk and angry. Emma was already in bed, but she heard him stumbling around downstairs, knocking things over. She got up and went downstairs in her pajamas. "Marcus? Are you okay?" she asked carefully. He spun around to face her. His eyes were red and unfocused. Am I okay? He laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. Am I okay? No, Emma. I'm not okay. Do you know what happened today? Emma shook her head, scared. I lost a huge deal. Millions of dollars, gone. And do you know why? Because my client thought I was soft. He saw pictures of me with you. Poor, pathetic little Emma. And he thought I'd gone soft. Marcus, that's not my fault. Everything is your fault. Marcus yelled, moving closer to Emma. You're like a weight around my neck, dragging me down. I thought I could change you, make you into someone worthy of being with me. But you're still just a coffee shop girl playing dress up. Emma felt tears streaming down her face. I never asked you to change me. I never asked for any of this. Well, you got it anyway, and now I'm done. Do you hear me? Done. Marcus grabbed Emma's arm. Not hard enough to really hurt, but firm enough to scare her, and started pulling her toward the front door. Marcus, stop. What are you doing? I'm kicking you out. You want to leave? Then leave. He threw open the front door. The rain was pouring down outside, coming down in thick sheets that you could barely see through. Thunder rumbled in the dark sky. Marcus, please, Emma begged. It's the middle of the night. It's raining. I don't have anywhere to go. That's not my problem anymore. Marcus pushed Emma toward the door. You're nothing, Emma. You hear me? Nothing. Just a worthless girl who thought she could be somebody. Emma tried to hold onto the doorframe, but Marcus pushed harder. She stumbled out onto the front steps. The rain hit her like a cold slap, soaking through her thin pajamas immediately. Please, Marcus. Please. Emma cried, reaching back toward the door. But Marcus's face was twisted with anger and something else. Something that looked almost like hatred. You're nothing, he screamed one final time. Then he slammed the door. Bang! The sound echoed through Emma's whole body. She stood there on the steps, rain pouring down on her, thunder crashing overhead, completely alone. Emma sank down to her knees on the wet sidewalk. She was crying so hard she could barely breathe. Her whole body was shaking. From the cold, from fear, from heartbreak. She had nothing. No phone, it was inside. No money. No shoes. She'd been barefoot. Nowhere to go. This was it. This was rock bottom. Emma put her face in her hands and sobbed like her heart was actually breaking into pieces. But then, through the rain and through her tears, Emma saw lights. Bright, white lights cutting through the darkness like two stars falling from the sky. Car was coming down the street. Not just any car. A huge, sleek, expensive-looking car that gleamed even in the rain. The car slowed down. Then it stopped. Right in front of Emma. Emma looked up, rain streaming down her face, her hair plastered to her head, her pajamas completely soaked through. The driver's door opened. A man in a perfect black suit stepped out, immediately opening a huge black umbrella. But Emma wasn't looking at him. The back door of the car opened, and when Emma saw who stepped out, her heart stopped beating for a full second. Couldn't be. It was impossible. But there he was, older than Emma remembered but with the same kind eyes, the eyes from her childhood memories. Uncle Raymond? Emma whispered, not sure if she was dreaming. The tall man in the expensive coat looked at Emma kneeling on the wet sidewalk. His face went through about 100 emotions in 2 seconds. Confusion, shock, recognition, and then something that looked like rage. Emma? His voice was deep and powerful, the kind of voice that made people listen. Emma Walker? Is that you? Emma nodded, unable to speak. She was crying too hard. Uncle Raymond moved fast. He ran to Emma, actually ran, and dropped to his knees on the wet sidewalk next to her, not caring that his expensive pants were getting soaked. He wrapped his coat around Emma's shaking shoulders and pulled her into a tight hug. Oh my God, he said, his voice shaking. Oh my God, sweetheart, what happened to you? Emma couldn't form words. She just clung to her uncle and cried and cried and cried. Uncle Raymond looked up at the mansion, at the front door that had just slammed in Emma's face. His jaw clenched. His eyes turned hard and cold. the eyes of a man who was very, very angry. "Who did this to you?" he asked quietly. But quiet didn't mean calm. His voice was like ice, cold and dangerous. "Who hurt you, Emma?" Before Emma could answer, the front door of the mansion opened again. Marcus stood there, probably coming to make sure Emma had actually left. But when he saw the Bentley and the well-dressed man holding Emma, his face went pale. Uncle Raymond slowly stood up, keeping Emma close to his side. He was tall, much taller than Marcus, and the way he stood made him look powerful and important. "You," Uncle Raymond said, pointing at Marcus. "You did this to my niece?" Marcus's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Your niece? I didn't know." "You didn't know?" Uncle Raymond's voice got louder. "You didn't know that you should treat people with respect? You didn't know that you don't throw a young woman out into a storm in the middle of the night? You didn't know that this beautiful, kind girl is worth more than your entire worthless existence?" "Sir, I'm not done talking." Uncle Raymond's voice boomed like thunder. "Get back in your house. Don't say another word. Because if you do, if you say one more word, I will destroy you. Do you understand me? I will make it my personal mission to ruin your pathetic little life." Marcus stumbled backward and slammed the door again, this time running away instead of kicking someone out. Uncle Raymond turned back to Emma. His face softened immediately. "Come on, sweetheart," he said gently. "Let's get you somewhere warm and safe." He helped Emma to her feet and guided her to the Bentley. The driver was already holding the door open. Emma climbed into the back seat, and Uncle Raymond climbed in next to her. The inside of the car was warm and dry and smelled like leather and something expensive Emma couldn't identify. Emma was still shaking, still crying, still trying to understand what was happening. Uncle Raymond wrapped a soft blanket around her and handed her tissues. "It's okay now," he said softly, gently. "You're safe now, Emma. I've got you. I promise I've got you." The car pulled away from Marcus's mansion. Emma looked back and saw Marcus peeking through the curtains, his face white with fear. Emma turned to her uncle, a million questions flooding her mind. Where had he been all these years? How did he find her? Why did Marcus look so scared of him? And why was Uncle Raymond driving a Bentley and wearing clothes that probably cost more than everything Emma had ever owned in her entire life? But before she could ask any of these questions, exhaustion crashed over her like a wave. Her eyes got heavy. Her body stopped shaking. For the first time in months, maybe even years, Emma felt safe. She leaned against her Uncle Raymond's shoulder, and everything went dark as she fell into a deep sleep. But somewhere in her sleeping mind, Emma heard her uncle make a phone call. "Michael, it's Raymond. I need you to find out everything about a man named Marcus Blackwood. Every business deal, every property, every dirty secret. I want to know everything by morning. And Michael? Destroy him. Completely." Emma woke up in the softest bed she had ever felt in her entire life. For a moment, she thought she was dreaming. The sheets felt like clouds against her skin. The pillow was so comfortable it was like sleeping on a marshmallow. She opened her eyes slowly. The room was huge, bigger than her entire old apartment. The walls were painted a soft cream color. There was a giant window with long, flowing curtains that let in the morning sunlight. Beautiful paintings hung on the walls. A chandelier sparkled above her head like a million tiny stars. Where was she? Then everything from last night came rushing back like a big wave crashing over her. Marcus yelling at her. The rain. Being kicked out into the storm. The Bentley. Uncle Raymond. Emma sat up quickly, her heart pounding. She looked down and realized she wasn't wearing her wet pajamas anymore. Someone had dressed her in soft, clean clothes. A white t-shirt and comfortable pants that felt brand new. There was a knock on the door. "Come in," Emma said quietly, her voice sounding scratchy and tired. The door opened, and a kind-looking woman with gray hair walked in carrying a tray. She wore a neat black dress and a warm smile. "Good morning, Miss Emma," the woman said in a gentle voice. "My name is Margaret. I'm Mr. Raymond's housekeeper. I brought you some breakfast." She set the tray on Emma's lap. There were fluffy pancakes with syrup, fresh strawberries, orange juice, and even a small vase with a single rose in it. Emma's eyes filled with tears. This is so nice. Thank you. Margaret patted Emma's hand softly. You eat up now, dear. Mr. Raymond is waiting to see you when you're ready. There's a bathroom right through that door with fresh towels and anything else you might need. Take your time. After Margaret left, Emma ate the pancakes slowly. They were the most delicious thing she'd tasted in months. When she was done, she took a long, hot shower in the bathroom, which was even fancier than Marcus's bathroom had been. The water actually stayed hot the whole time. She found new clothes laid out for her. A simple but pretty blue dress and comfortable shoes that fit perfectly. Someone must have guessed her size. When Emma was finally ready, she opened the bedroom door and found Margaret waiting in the hallway. Mr. Raymond is in his study, Margaret said with a smile. Follow me, dear. As Margaret led Emma through the house, Emma's mouth fell open again. This place made Marcus's mansion look like a tiny cottage. They walked down hallways with marble floors that were so shiny Emma could see her reflection. Paintings that looked like they belonged in museums hung on every wall. There were rooms everywhere. A library full of books from floor to ceiling, a dining room with a table that could seat 20 people, a living room with furniture that looked too perfect to actually sit on. How many rooms are in this house? Emma whispered to Margaret. Margaret chuckled. 47 rooms, dear. Mr. Raymond doesn't use most of them. He says the house is too big for one person, but he keeps it because it was his father's, your grandfather's, home. Emma's head was spinning. Grandfather? She'd never met her grandfather. Mama never talked about him. They stopped in front of a big wooden door. Margaret knocked gently. Come in, said Uncle Raymond's deep voice from inside. Margaret opened the door and nodded at Emma encouragingly. Emma took a deep breath and walked in. The study was beautiful. The walls were covered with bookshelves full of old books. A huge desk sat by the window. And there, standing by the window looking out at a garden full of flowers, was Uncle Raymond. He turned when Emma walked in, and his face lit up with the biggest smile. Emma, he said warmly, how are you feeling, sweetheart? I'm okay, Emma said, even though she wasn't sure if that was true. Uncle Raymond, I don't understand what's happening. How did you find me last night? Where have you been all these years? And why? She looked around the fancy study. Why does it seem like you're really, really rich? Uncle Raymond laughed. A warm, kind laugh that Emma remembered from when she was little. Sit down, Emma, he said, pointing to a comfortable-looking chair. I have a lot to explain to you, and I'm sorry, so sorry, that I didn't explain it all a long time ago. Emma sat down, her hands folded in her lap, waiting. Uncle Raymond sat in the chair across from her. He looked older than Emma remembered. His hair had gray in it now, and there were lines around his eyes, but his eyes were still kind, still warm. Emma, he began, I need to tell you about your family, your real family, the family your mother tried to protect you from. Your grandfather, my father, was William Montgomery, Uncle Raymond said. Have you heard that name before? Emma shook her head. William Montgomery built one of the biggest business empires in the country, Uncle Raymond continued. Hotels, real estate, technology companies. Our family owns pieces of businesses all over the world. When my father died 5 years ago, I inherited everything. Emma, our family is worth, well, billions of dollars. Emma felt like all the air had been sucked out of the room. Billions? Like, with a B. With a B, Uncle Raymond confirmed. I know this is a lot to take in. But Mama and I were so poor, Emma said, her voice getting louder. We could barely pay rent. Mama died because she couldn't afford the medicine she needed. If we have all this money, why didn't you help us? Uncle Raymond's face crumpled like someone had punched him. Emma, I tried. God, I tried so hard. But your mother, she refused to take any money from the family. Why? Emma asked, tears streaming down her face now. Why would she do that? Uncle Raymond took a deep breath. Because of your father. Emma sat up straighter. My father? Mama never talked about him. She just said he left when I was a baby. He didn't just leave, Uncle Raymond said sadly. Emma, Your father's name was David Walker. He worked for our family's company as an accountant. That's how he met your mother. My sister, Catherine. Wait, Emma interrupted. Your sister? Mama was your sister. Yes, Catherine Montgomery was my younger sister, and I loved her more than anything in the world. Uncle Raymond's voice got thick with emotion. She was kind and smart and funny, just like you. When she met David, she fell in love fast. Our father didn't approve. David came from a poor family, and father thought Catherine should marry someone rich and powerful. But she married him anyway? Emma asked. She did. She loved David so much that she gave up her inheritance, her family name, everything. She became Catherine Walker and moved into a small apartment with David. Our father was furious. He said if she married David, she could never come back. She could never use the Montgomery name. She would get no money from the family. That's horrible, Emma said. It was, Uncle Raymond agreed. I tried to stay in your mother's life. I visited you when you were little. Do you remember? Emma nodded, remembering the tall man who brought her the teddy bear. But then David started stealing from the company, Uncle Raymond said, his voice getting hard. He embezzled. That means he took money that wasn't his, almost $500,000. He got caught. He went to prison. Emma gasped. My father is in prison? He was. He got out about 10 years ago. But after that, your mother was so ashamed. She thought the whole family hated her for marrying a criminal. She changed her phone number. She moved to a different city. She made me promise not to look for her. But why? Emma cried. You could have helped us. I know. Uncle Raymond stood up and started pacing back and forth. Emma, I tried to find you for years. I hired private investigators. I searched everywhere. But your mother was so good at hiding. She didn't want any connection to the Montgomery family. She thought we looked down on her. She thought we blamed her for David's crimes. Did you? Emma asked quietly. Uncle Raymond knelt down in front of Emma's chair and took her hands in his. Never, he said firmly. I never blamed Catherine for anything. She was my baby sister. I loved her. And when I finally found out she had died, his voice broke. Emma, I found out about your mother's death 6 months after it happened. By the time I tracked down where she'd been living, you were already gone. You'd moved. No forwarding address. I've been searching for you for 2 years. Emma was crying hard now. How did you find me last night? I have people who monitor social media, public records, anything that might lead me to you, Uncle Raymond explained. 3 months ago, one of my investigators found a mention of an Emma Walker who worked at Bean Dream's coffee shop. I came to the city immediately. I was planning to come to the coffee shop, but by the time I got here, you'd already quit. I've been trying to track you down ever since. But how did you know where I was last night? Emma asked. Uncle Raymond's face got hard and angry again. Yesterday, my investigator finally found your connection to Marcus Blackwood. I was planning to visit you today, to introduce myself properly. But last night I couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong. I told my driver to take me to Blackwood's address, just to see where you were living. And when we pulled up, his hands clenched into fists. When I saw you on your knees in the rain, when I saw what that man did to you, you looked like you wanted to kill him, Emma whispered. I did, Uncle Raymond said honestly. And Emma, I need to tell you something about Marcus Blackwood. Uncle Raymond walked back to his desk and picked up a folder. He handed it to Emma. Last night, after you fell asleep, I had my team investigate Marcus Blackwood. Look at what they found. Emma opened the folder with shaking hands. Inside were papers and photos and documents. Marcus Blackwood isn't who he pretended to be, Uncle Raymond said. He doesn't own 15 buildings. He owns 3, and all of them have huge loans on them that he can't pay back. He's drowning in debt. He owes banks almost $10 million. Emma looked at a paper showing all of Marcus's debts. The numbers were so big they made her head spin. He's been using his girlfriend, you, as part of a con, Uncle Raymond continued. Marcus targets young women who seem innocent and kind. He makes them fall in love with him, moves them into his house, then slowly breaks them down and controls them. Then, when he's ready, he uses them. Uses them for what? Emma asked, confused. Insurance fraud. Fake accidents. Sometimes even stealing from their families. Uncle Raymond pointed to another paper. Look at this. You're not the first girl Marcus has done this to. There were 3 others before you. Emma read the names on the paper. 3 young women all around Emma's age. All of them had dated Marcus. And next to each name was a note. Rachel Chun filed insurance claim for fake car accident. Disappeared after Marcus got payout. Jennifer Martinez reported theft of jewelry that never existed. Left Marcus after investigation started. Ashley Thompson currently missing. Last seen with Marcus Blackwood. Emma's hands started shaking so hard she almost dropped the folder. That last girl, Emma whispered. Ashley Thompson. She's missing. The police think she found out about Marcus's schemes and threatened to report him, Uncle Raymond said grimly. She disappeared 6 months ago. They haven't found her body. But he didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. Emma felt sick to her stomach. She'd been living with a dangerous man. Maybe even a murderer. But why me? Emma asked. I don't have any money. I don't have any family he could steal from. She stopped. Oh. He didn't know about me, Uncle Raymond said. He thought you were alone in the world. But Emma, I think he was planning something. Look at this. He showed Emma another paper. It was an insurance policy, a life insurance policy for Emma Walker. And the beneficiary, the person who would get the money if Emma died, was Marcus Blackwood. Emma dropped the paper like it had burned her. He took out a life insurance policy on me? Her voice was barely a whisper. $2 million, Uncle Raymond said. If something happened to you, an accident, maybe Marcus would get $2 million. Emma, I think last night when he kicked you out wasn't just about anger. I think he was planning to kill me, Emma finished. He was planning to kill me and make it look like an accident. The room spun around her. Emma felt like she couldn't breathe. Uncle Raymond pulled Emma into a tight hug. But he didn't. You're safe now. And I promise you, Emma, I will never let anyone hurt you again. Emma pulled away from the hug and wiped her tears. Something inside her changed in that moment. She wasn't scared anymore. She was angry. What happens to Marcus now? She asked. Uncle Raymond smiled, but it wasn't a nice smile. It was the smile of a man who was about to do something to someone who deserved it. That's up to you, Emma, he said. I've already contacted the police about the insurance policy and the missing girl. They're investigating. But I can do more. I can destroy Marcus Blackwood's entire life if you want me to. Emma thought about everything Marcus had done to her. The mean words, making her feel worthless, taking away her confidence. And he'd done it all while planning to kill her for money. Do it, Emma said firmly. Make sure he can never hurt anyone else again. Uncle Raymond nodded. Consider it done. He picked up his phone and made a call. Michael, it's Raymond. Execute the plan. All of it. Over the next hour, Uncle Raymond showed Emma exactly what he was doing to Marcus Blackwood. First, he called the banks that had loaned Marcus money. Uncle Raymond's company owned pieces of those banks, so he had influence. Call in Marcus Blackwood's loans immediately, he told them. All of them. Today. Second, he contacted every business partner Marcus had. I'm informing you that Marcus Blackwood is under investigation for fraud. If you continue to work with him, you might be investigated too. Third, he had his lawyers file lawsuits against Marcus for fraud, emotional abuse, and attempted insurance fraud. Fourth, and this was Emma's favorite part, Uncle Raymond called every rich person who had attended that terrible dinner party at Marcus's house. The one where Victoria called Emma a charity case. This is Raymond Montgomery, Uncle Raymond said in each call. I'm calling to let you know that Marcus Blackwood abused my niece. My niece, who is a Montgomery, and tried to kill her for insurance money. I thought you should know what kind of man you've been associating with. I'm sure the papers will be very interested in this story. By lunchtime, Marcus's entire life was falling apart. Emma watched through Uncle Raymond's computer as the news spread on social media. People who'd thought Marcus was successful were now calling him a fraud. Companies were canceling their contracts with him. The police had shown up at his house to ask questions about Ashley Thompson. "It's over for him," Uncle Raymond said with satisfaction. "By tomorrow, Marcus Blackwood will have nothing. No money, no reputation, no friends, nothing. Just like he tried to do to me," Emma said quietly. "Exactly like he tried to do to you. But you, Emma, you're going to have everything." Uncle Raymond took Emma to the library, where they sat in big, comfortable chairs. "Emma, I want to apologize," Uncle Raymond said seriously. "I should have tried harder to stay in your life. I should have fought against your mother's wishes. If I had, maybe she would have gotten the medicine she needed. Maybe she'd still be alive. Maybe you never would have met Marcus." "Uncle Raymond, let me finish," he said gently. "I can't change the past, but I can change your future. Emma, you're a Montgomery. You're my family, my only family now. Everything I have, half of it is yours." Emma's eyes went wide. "What?" "I've already had my lawyers draw up the papers," Uncle Raymond continued. "You're in my will. My estate, my companies, everything, it will be split between any children I have and you. You're my heir, Emma. But that's billions of dollars," Emma said, her voice high and squeaky. "Money you should have had access to your whole life," Uncle Raymond said. "Money that could have saved your mother. Emma, I can't bring Catherine back, but I can make sure you never struggle again. You can go to college, any college in the world. You can study whatever you want. You can travel. You can do anything you've ever dreamed of." Emma started crying again, but this time they were happy tears. "I just want a family," she said through her tears. "I don't care about the money. I just want a family." Uncle Raymond pulled Emma into another hug. "You have one. I know I can't replace your mother, but I promise I'll be the best uncle I can be. You'll never be alone again, Emma. Never." Emma stood in front of the mirror in her new bedroom, one of the 47 rooms in Uncle Raymond's mansion that was now her home too. She looked different. Not on the outside. She was still the same Emma with brown hair and kind eyes. But inside she felt stronger, braver, like she'd been through fire and come out made of steel. Uncle Raymond knocked on her door. "Ready to go?" Emma nodded. "I'm ready." They were going to court today. Marcus was being tried for fraud, forgery, and conspiracy in the disappearance of Ashley Thompson. The police had found evidence that Marcus had been planning to fake Emma's death too. He'd searched online for things like how to make a car accident look real and insurance payouts for accidental death. When they arrived at the courthouse, there were cameras everywhere. The story of Marcus Blackwood, the fake rich man who targeted innocent women, had become huge news. Emma walked into the courthouse holding Uncle Raymond's arm. She wore a simple but elegant blue suit that Uncle Raymond had bought her. She held her head high. Marcus was already there in the courtroom, sitting at a table with his lawyer. When he saw Emma walk in, his face went pale. He looked terrible. His expensive suit was wrinkled, his hair was messy, and he had dark circles under his eyes. Emma sat down in the front row. She looked Marcus right in the eyes. He looked away first. During the trial, Emma had to tell her story. She told the judge and jury everything. How Marcus had been sweet at first, then mean, then cruel. How he'd kicked her out in the rain. How she'd found out about the life insurance policy. "Did you know Marcus Blackwood was planning to harm you?" the prosecutor asked. "Not then," Emma said honestly. "But looking back now, I see all the signs. He isolated me from everyone. He made me feel worthless. He was breaking me down piece by piece. If my Uncle Raymond hadn't found me that night," she looked at Marcus, "I don't think I'd be alive today." Marcus's lawyer tried to argue that it was all a misunderstanding, that Marcus loved Emma, that he would never hurt anyone. But then the prosecutor showed the insurance policy, the searches on Marcus's computer, the testimony from the previous girlfriends who'd barely escaped with their lives. And finally, they showed evidence about Ashley Thompson. The police had found her. She was alive. She'd been hiding in another state, terrified of Marcus. She testified on video about how Marcus had threatened to kill her when she discovered he was committing insurance fraud. The jury took only 2 hours to make their decision. Guilty. Guilty on all charges. The judge sentenced Marcus to 25 years in prison. As the police led Marcus away in handcuffs, he looked at Emma one last time. "You're nothing," he tried to say again. But Emma stood up tall and smiled. "No, Marcus," she said clearly, her voice strong and sure. "You're nothing. And I'm everything I was always meant to be." Emma stood in front of the coffee shop Bean Dreams. It had been 6 months since that terrible rainy night. 6 months since Uncle Raymond rescued her. 6 months since her whole life changed. The coffee shop looked the same as she remembered. Through the window, she could see Sarah behind the counter, making cappuccinos and smiling at customers. Emma pushed open the door. A little bell jingled. Sarah looked up. When she saw Emma, she dropped the cup she was holding. "Emma!" Sarah screamed and ran around the counter to pull Emma into a huge hug. "Oh my God! I've been so worried about you. I saw you on the news and I couldn't believe. Are you okay? Are you really okay?" Emma hugged her friend tight. "I'm more than okay, Sarah. I'm perfect." They sat down at a table and Emma told Sarah everything, well, not everything, but enough. She told her about Marcus's cruelty, about Uncle Raymond's rescue, about finding her family. "Emma, this is like a movie," Sarah said, her eyes wide. "You're actually rich now? Like, really rich?" "I am," Emma admitted. "But money isn't the best part. The best part is having family again. Having Uncle Raymond. And Sarah, I have something to ask you." She pulled out an envelope and handed it to Sarah. Sarah opened it. Inside was a check for $50,000 and a letter. What is this?" Sarah whispered. "You were kind to me when I worked here," Emma said. "You taught me how to make fancy coffees. You listened when I was sad about missing Mama. You were a real friend. That money is for you to go to college, or start your own business, or whatever you want to do with your life." Sarah started crying. "Emma, I can't accept this." "Yes, you can," Emma said firmly. "This is what family does. They help each other. And Sarah, you're family to me." The two friends hugged and cried happy tears together. 1 year after that rainy night, Emma stood on the stage at Montgomery University, the university her grandfather had founded and that Uncle Raymond now ran. She was giving a speech to new students about her scholarship program. Emma had created a fund to help young people from poor families go to college for free. The fund was called the Catherine Walker Memorial Scholarship, named after her mama. "My mother taught me that kindness matters more than money," Emma told the audience of hundreds of students. "She taught me that even when life is hard, you keep going. You keep being good. You keep helping others. And I'm here today because someone showed me that same kindness when I needed it most." She looked at Uncle Raymond, who was sitting in the front row, smiling proudly. "I want you to know that no matter where you come from, no matter how poor you are or how many people tell you that you're nothing, they're wrong. You are somebody. You matter. Your dreams matter. And if you work hard and stay kind, amazing things can happen." The audience erupted in applause. After the speech, Emma walked through the beautiful university campus. Students smiled at her and said hello. She'd become kind of famous, the girl who went from working in a coffee shop to being a billionaire's heir. But Emma didn't let it change her. She still wore simple clothes most days. She still said please and thank you to everyone. She still remembered what it felt like to be poor and alone. Her phone buzzed. It was a text from Uncle Raymond. "Dinner tonight? I want to hear about your day. Love you, Emma." Emma smiled and texted back. "Love you too, Uncle Raymond. See you at home." Home. That word meant something now. It wasn't just a building or a mansion with 47 rooms. Home was where people loved you. Home was where you were safe. Home was family. As Emma walked through the campus, she thought about Marcus sometimes. He was in prison where he belonged. The last she heard, he was working in the prison laundry, washing clothes for 20 cents an hour. All his fancy suits and expensive watches were gone. He really was nothing now. But Emma didn't feel happy about his suffering. She'd learned that revenge doesn't heal you, love does. Kindness does. Family does. Emma thought about her mama every day. She wished Catherine could see her now, could see how Emma had survived, how she'd found Uncle Raymond, how she was using her money to help others just like Mama would have wanted. "I hope I'm making you proud, Mama," Emma whispered to the sky. Somewhere, somehow, Emma knew her Mama was watching. And she knew her Mama was smiling. Emma Walker Montgomery graduated from university with honors. She now runs the Montgomery Foundation, a charity that helps young people from poor families. She never married Marcus's type again. Instead, she fell in love with a kind teacher named James who loved her for who she was, not what she had. They're planning their wedding for next spring. Uncle Raymond Montgomery retired from running the family business to spend more time with Emma. He says finding his niece was the best thing that ever happened to him. He walks Emma down the aisle at her wedding, and he cries happy tears the whole time. Marcus Blackwood served 15 years of his 25-year sentence before being released on parole. He now works at a car wash and lives in a small apartment. He never bothered Emma again. Some say he thinks about that rainy night and wonders what his life would be like if he'd just been kind to the girl from the coffee shop. Sarah used Emma's gift to open her own coffee shop called Dreams Come True. It's the most popular coffee shop in the city, and Emma visits every week. They're still best friends. Victoria and the other mean friends from the dinner party all tried to apologize to Emma after her identity as a Montgomery became public. Emma forgave them but never spent time with them again. She learned that real friends don't care about money. They care about you. And the teddy bear that Uncle Raymond gave Emma when she was 7 years old? Emma still has it. It sits on her bed in her room at the mansion, a reminder that family love never dies. It just waits for the right moment to come back home. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to this channel to support our growth. Hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment telling me what you thought about Emma's journey, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. You are not nothing. You are everything. No matter how dark the rain, there's always a Bentley coming around the corner. You just have to hold on long enough to see it. Thank you for watching, and remember, be kind, stay strong, and never let anyone make you feel worthless. See you in the next story.